Hello friends, in today's session we are going to discuss the case Union of India versus R. Gandhi. First, let's briefly understand this case. In the case of Union of India versus R. Gandhi, the Supreme Court upheld the constitutional validity of NCLT and NCLAT but found certain provisions of the Company Act 1956 to be in violation of fundamental constitutional principle and emphasized the need for their amendment. The court maintained the principle of judicial independence and separation of powers while limiting the validity of tribunal formations. Now let's study this case in details. Answer: Petitioner Union of India versus Respondent R. Gandhi, reference AIR 2015 SC 1571. Subject matter of the case: this case pertained to the constitutional validity of National Company Law Tribunal NCLT and the National Company Law Appellate Tribunal NCLAT. The Supreme Court upheld their establishment but emphasized the need for amendments in certain provisions of the Company Act 1956 to ensure they did not violate fundamental constitutional principles. Facts of the case: in 2004, the Madras Bar Council filed a writ petition in the Madras High Court challenging the constitutional validity of the establishment of NCLT and NCLAT, which were created under Part 1B of the Company Act 1956. On March 30, 2004, the Madras High Court ruled that the establishment of the NCLT and the transfer of power previously exercised by the High Court and the Company Law Board to these tribunals were not unconstitutional. However, the High Court identified constitutional flaws in certain provisions of Parts 1B and 1C of the Companies Act 1956, particularly in sections 10FD, 3FGH, 10FE, 10FF, 10FL2, 10FR3, and 10FT. It observed that these provisions disrupted the constitutional doctrine of separation of powers. Consequently, until these provisions were appropriately amended to rectify the identified flaws, transferring the jurisdiction exercised by the High Court RCLB to NCLT and NCLAT would be deemed unconstitutional. Appeal: the petitioners contested the Madras High Court's decision upholding the constitutional validity of NCLT and NCLAT. Conversely, the Union of India opposed the High Court's ruling that deemed certain provisions of Parts 1B and 1C of the Companies Act 1956 constitutionally flawed. Consequently, both parties appealed the Madras High Court's judgment before the Supreme Court. Issues in dispute. Point A. Whether Parliament has the legislative power to transfer the High Court's traditional judicial functions to the tribunal outside the judiciary. Point B. Whether the establishment of NCLT and the transfer of the High Court's complete jurisdiction over company matters to a tribunal not under judicial control violated the principle of separation of powers and judicial independence, which form part of the basic structure of the Constitution. Point C. Article 323B of the Constitution empowers the legislature to establish tribunals for disputes, complaints, or offences related to matters specified in Clause 2. This list is exhaustive rather than illustrative. However, it does not explicitly include provisions for the formation of a tribunal for corporate insolvency, revival, or restructuring. Hence, in the absence of an amendment to Article 323B, the establishment of NCLT and NCLAT lacked a valid legislative basis. Point D. Various provisions of Chapters 1B and 1C, Section 10FB, 10FD, 10FE, 10FF, 10FL2, 10FO, 10FR3, 10FT, and 10FX were found to be defective and unconstitutional. These provisions contravened fundamental legal principles, the rule of law, separation of powers, and judicial independence, rendering them legally untenable. Judgment. On May 11, 2010, the Supreme Court's Constitutional Bench upheld the constitutional validity of NCLT and NCLAT. Additionally, the Court examined Part 1B and 1C of the Companies Act 1956 and largely concurred with the Madras High Court regarding the constitutional defects in these provisions. Please watch full video, share and subscribe to the channel. Thank you.